This review has been brought to you in part by Main Irish Airsoft. For a while, the MP44 disappeared from the Airsofters armoury due to the original manufacturer closing down, but lately ASG have delighted World War II airsofters everywhere by reintroducing the MP44, also known as the STG44. This is a long and heavy gun coming in at a full 980mm and weighing in at a whopping 4 kilograms, which is slightly heavier than the real steel version. With a full metal body and a real wood stock, this is a faithful reproduction of the original. High capacity mag holds a generous 480 rounds and the gun takes a 9.6 volt stick battery. Internally the gun is a solid performer, boasting a standard version 2 gearbox which makes this gun fully upgradable. This gun became a firm favourite during the latter part of World War II with the Wehrmacht. It provided increased firepower over its smaller brethren and became the first modern assault rifle in the world. German engineering was simple but very effective, and so successful was the MP44, Kalashnikov based his world famous AK-47 on this exact gun in 1947. The rest, they say, is history. Hi, Oddies Airsoft, and we're back. And today I have a rather sexy World War II MP44, or also known as the STG44. From the onset, I have to tell you, I haven't used this an awful lot, but I really don't have to, because there's just so many guys out there on the airsoft scene who are into their World War II who are using this exact gun for their loadout that I've a plethora of guys telling me and reviewing it for me, so I don't need to do a huge amount of reviewing on it. So this is an iconic piece, and without a doubt it's one of the heaviest guns outside of the real sort of heavy machine guns that you'll find in airsoft. This is a beast, and it's not for the faint-hearted. Now, this actually weighs heavier than the real steel version. Go figure. It's not much more, but it is a little bit more. And one of the biggest issues with this gun is it's really nose heavy. An awful lot of the heavy metal used seems to be weighted forward, so that it naturally wants to pull down. Playing with this for a day, you'll know about it, and you'll need a strap to be put on it, because you'll not manage it carrying it any other way. This is one of the better airsoft devices out there from the World War II period. Now, I have to say, I already own a Thompson, and I love my Thompson, but you know, it has its bugs. I also have a PPSH, which I adore. For my World War II loadouts, the PPSH would be my go-to gun, because it's just savage. It just doesn't fail, and the rate of fire and the range out of it is superb. But outside of that, you know, you've got the MP40 in different versions, but this particular model, this is the only one that you can buy as an MP44, and this is from ASG. This is their, they call it a kind of a sports line model, but you know, you can't get a high pro line version of this. This is it. This is the only MP44 on the market. The build quality is fantastic. Now, out of the box, I'm not going to lie, it looks too new. So I have a couple of mates who own these particular models, and they have absolutely stripped down and made these look very worn. They've stained the wood much darker. They've put all the wear into the pot metal, which works really, really well, and I have to say, their guns look absolutely savage. Rate of fire out of this is mediocre, but then again, you know, for a period gun, you expect it to be fairly slow. I reckon we're hitting around the 11 BBs per second. I wouldn't say it's much more than that. The range on this is superb. You know, the hop is very, very responsive. Typical place that you'll find the hop is in here. Very responsive. Once set, doesn't move, and you know, as I said, it does everything it's meant to do. But it's such an iconic piece. Positives, as I said, range is fantastic, rate of fire is average, but you know, again, for the set piece it's about the same as the Thompson. It's full metal, has a version 2 gearbox inside, and because of that it's fully upgradable. Now I know Chris owns one of these and he's tinkered with his to within an inch of its life, and his is absolutely savage. He's changed all the gears out, and so that, you know, it's not something I would recommend you do. I would play with this until it sort of begins to shit itself and not fire anymore. That's when you'll start upgrading any gun, to be honest with you. If you want to though, this thing is fully upgradable, and that makes it very, very good. You could fit a tight bore barrel in it, but to be honest with you, it already ships with a 604, and I don't know, I'd leave it alone. I really find the range on it and the accuracy is not bad for the type of gun it is. Now it will not keep up with a modern gun, you know, and if you're bringing this into a modern scenario, look, it's a nice piece, and I've seen a lot of guys play with these in the modern scenario and pretty much hold their own. But you know, they're not as accurate as you know, some of the more modern pieces out there. They're certainly not going to be able to keep up rate of fire wise in a firefight. But because of the very long barrel on them, they do seem to have a good range. And you know, out of all the World War II guns, this is up there with some of the best that's out there. So all in all, I have to say from ASG, this is a massive thumbs up. You know, thanks for sort of making sure that we can get hold of the MP44, because these disappeared off the market for a while and it was unsure whether they'd ever make it back. The build quality is fantastic, full wood stock, which makes it really, really nice. And the great thing about this is there's a little pin here which allows you pop out to get to the battery, and that's as simple as it is. And the battery gets housed in there, and it will take a rather large stick battery there. That's a 9.6, and it's, you know, sort of nice and neat, and very easy to get in and out of when you're under a bit of pressure in a battle. I always have a bit of a bugbear when you know, it comes to changing batteries in a battle, and you know, you're fiddling with bits and pieces, and you know, you want something that's going to operate real fast, and this does everything. One thing I will say is, if this gun looks familiar to a modern gun, namely the AK, you wouldn't be far wrong, because Kalashnikov actually based the AK completely off the MP44. He got hold of his MP44 in 1946, and by 1947 he had redesigned the faults that he saw on the MP44, and he made the modern AK available to all, which is, as everyone knows, the most used weapon in the world. So the Germans were fairly smart in producing this. You know, if they'd have maybe had these at the earlier stages of the war, the firepower out of these probably would have dominated a lot more battles for them. These were an absolute terrifying piece to come up against, and typically German, engineered within an inch of its life. This has been Oddie's Airsoft. Quick look at what is arguably one of the most iconic you know, World War II era guns, and we'll catch you on the flip-flop. Great range.